Hello everyone, welcome to Cloud Folklore. I'm Goodness Ebo and I'm thrilled to have you here for the part 3 of our Ansible Crash Course series. In this video, we'll dive deeper into our playbook by adding a new CentOS slave, which will be acting as our slave too. We'll explore how to add and manage multiple tags effectively, leverage the power of conditionals, and utilize tags to streamline our automation processes. Finally, we'll refactor our playbook to make our YAML file cleaner and more maintainable. Whether you're a beginner or you're looking to enhance your Ansible skills, this section is packed with practical insights and tips. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's get started.
So let's introduce our slave 2, our second node, right, into this whole play. When we're running those ad hoc commands, we first use the apt module, then we use YAML, then we're able to merge them together, right? So that's basically what we're going to do in this play. Then we'll introduce conditionals and tags, then we can end this particular section. So let's VI into our play. Right, so let's VI into our play. Let's add the CentOS distribution to it. So instead of let's add the CentOS distribution to it. But let's do a short experiment first of all, right? You can actually, apart from installing it, we can actually uninstall our Apache. So let's create a file. Let me copy this Apache installer file into Apache uninstaller file. Okay, that should automatically copy and create the Apache uninstaller file. So let's go into the Apache installer file. Okay, it has the same thing. So all we need to do is now we're going to change. I don't like where this player was putting, so let's space this out a bit. Now let's change the state here from present. Let's change it to late. Let's change it to absent. If you change the state to absent, it should uninstall Apache. Now previously in our Ubuntu slave, if you run sudo status, sudo system ctl status Apache, right, is running, but let's uninstall it. Let's run the play to uninstall it. So instead of using Apache installer here, we'll change it to Apache uninstaller. Let's run that play. Okay, updated the repository index. Oh, I forgot to change the name to uninstall Apache, but that changed. So if we go back to our slave node 1 and we check the status for Apache, you see that the Apache service could not be found anymore. If we go to our website and refresh this, you see that Apache will no longer be there. That is the default Apache page. That's because we uninstalled it. So having done that, you see it's possible to both install and uninstall on this like using Ansible. So now let's introduce CentOS execution into the play. So we're actually using the install Apache play. Yeah, oh, I'm supposed to run the play again, so let's cancel that. Let's introduce CentOS. Let's introduce the second slave, right, into our play. Let's veer into the Apache installer. Okay. Let's space this out a bit. Let's do a little bit of refactoring. I don't like the way this looks. Okay, this is good. Now we can actually use put states here and put latest. That way to always install the latest version of Apache. So let's add an additional play before we introduce CentOS. Let's install Git, then maybe PHP. Git. Let's just install Git because we eventually have to pull from a GitHub repository, right? And we need Git to do that. Let's install Git. Still using the apt module. Name of the package you want to install is git. So let's check if git is even present in the slave. Which git? Oh, we already have git in here. But let's check CentOS which git. So we don't have git here. We can just run a general play to install git, right? Let's see if we have PHP. Okay, we don't have that. We have PHP in slave 2. We don't have that either. So let's introduce a play to install both PHP and git. We already have git in our slave 1, but let's ignore that. So let's call this play. Let's add the latest here. Let's write another play, an additional play. Then we're going to refactor it. I know this looks kind of rough right now. Doesn't really look good. But we're actually going to make some editing or refactor this play afterwards. Let's install PHP support for Apache. Still using the apps module. Let's call this we're still using the apps module since we're installing it in our Ubuntu slave. Let's give it the name. The name of the package, the support for Apache, PHP support for Apache is lib apache 2-mode -php. I think this is it. Let's also add a stateless. Right. Okay. Let's run this play. Let's see if everything will work. Okay. It's updating repository index, installing Apache. Okay, that's good. Install Git. You know Git's already present, so it won't take much time to install. By installing, I didn't spell support right. But by installing PHP support for Apache, I think it's installing, so that changed. So you see that the Git that was already in the system showed okay, it didn't show change because there was no changes made, right? But it's all the ones that, you know, we uninstalled Apache earlier, then we install it again. So that's why change is showing 2 here. So 2 changed. So if we go to our, you can now see that we have the executable part for PHP in our slave 1, which Apache. So if we run, I think if we refresh that to our web page, Apache default web page should be showing now. That's because we installed it again. Great, but it's not showing our slave 2 because we have not done anything in our slave 2. So to introduce the slave 2, we'll be using something called conditionals, right? So conditionals allow you to execute tasks based on like certain conditions. So let's go back to our play so I can explain using our play via into Apache installer. So we could easily do something like this. Probably copy, right? Space it out a bit, then maybe paste this one here, then change here to CentOS. That is one way to do it, right? I think this should work critically. We just have to change the the names of the packages not installed, because for CentOS it's not called Apache, it's called, I think, HTTPD. This should work like this. This is one way to do it, right? And for support for Apache for CentOS, it's just called PHP. PHP support for Apache is just called PHP for CentOS. This is one way to do it, right? We'll actually just run this like this, but this is really redundant. The code is long, it looks messy. The play isn't really looking like a play that I would write, right? So conditional is one way to do it, and I really enjoy using conditional, so that's the way we're going to do it. So let's undo these changes, right? Because I really don't want to use that. I don't want to use that way. Let's use the conditionals instead. It's cleaner, and it's easier to write for me. So to introduce the conditionals, I did explain what conditionals do. So basically, conditionals just allow you to execute tasks based on certain conditions, right? Let's say, for example, now we want to run a condition where we would only install Apache, right? When we're using the Ubuntu distribution, or when the Ansible distribution is equal to Ubuntu. So to write it that way, we could easily just do this. under the Apache module right here, or the Apache play right here. So we just put when. So we use the when keyword to run conditionals in Ansible. Right, so it's going to source for, I think it's called Ubuntu, I think it's U capital letter. So it's going to source for it. So basically, let me show what I mean. So if we go to the this part, I think it's /etc, so the part /etc/ I think OS release on our sleeve. It's OS. So I think we did that distribution at some point with that. Let's save this first of all. I'm trying to get the OS. So let's just go to our history. I think we'll run, yeah. So the grab distribution is 239. So this is one way to actually like run like a previous command. Go to your history, use this command right here. I think it's together. Sorry, 239, not separate. That's right. Okay, yeah, that's the command. So okay, OS release. So it's called Ubuntu, right? If we go to /etc/OS release, yeah, show you that it's Ubuntu. So it's capital letter. So let's do that. Let's clear this first of all. Let's veer into our play again. Right. So when the Ansible distribution is Ubuntu, we're going to install Apache. Let's copy this actually. Right. Let's copy this. This looks messy, I know. We're going to refactor eventually. Let's copy this. Here, this won't work. We need to make sure it's in the same place as the app. Yeah, that's correct. So it's this one that's incorrect actually. It should be here. Great. This should be here as well. Now let's delete this, right? We don't actually need to put this here because updating package, updating repository index can work for both of them, right? It's the same command. But all we need to do is just to change this from apps at the top to package. So that's out of the way. So this should automatically update for both the CentOS, and we need to change the host from Ubuntu to all. Yeah. Okay. So update repository index, that's out of the way. Install Apache, okay. Install Git and install PHP support. Then we could just be cheeky and add for Ubuntu. Okay. Install Git for Ubuntu. Install Apache package for Ubuntu. Just to give it like an understandable name. That if somebody else runs your play, they will know exactly what it does. Update repository index for both slaves or for both managed nodes or for all, just in case we in the future want to add more nodes, more managed nodes. Then I can scroll down to the play for CentOS. We can add the when conditional, and instead of using Ubuntu here, we're going to use CentOS. Hold on, let's go to slave 2 and cut what the distribution name is /etc/ I think it's OS release as well. So it's called CentOS in capital letter with the C in capital letter. So let's quickly copy this and paste it here. So it's important that, because that's what Ansible is actually going to go through, right? It will go through the OS release and check what the name, what the name is actually called, right? So it's CentOS with the C in capital letters and the OS in capital letters. That's important. So we can copy this here. And also copy this here. This looks ugly, by the way, but we're going to refactor. I just want this to run first of all. So we could also be cheeky and add not really cheeky, but we could also make it much more readable by adding the name of the slave while installing it in. So this install git for CentOS. Install Apache for CentOS. But in our case, Apache for CentOS is actually called HTTPD, not Apache 2. Git is Git, and PHP is PHP for CentOS. So let's do that. So this play should run. Okay, hold up. I think we have a mistake here. Okay, great. I think this play should run. Now it looks long, I know. We're going to refactor, but I just want to like run it this way first of all. I don't know why we're here. Let's take out our queue. Hold on. Okay, I can save. Right, so let's run the play. Ansible playbook. The play we're running is the Apache installer playbook. Let's run this play. Hold on. We're unable to read. Okay, I think we have an error. So you see, we need to, that's why it's important that your YAML file is using the correct syntax and everything is placed. Even just a little bit of spacing would actually like prompt an error. Hold on, let's go back and see where that error came from. Line 35:3. It appears to be okay. Probably some line 35:3. Okay, let's go to line 35. Set now. Let's get what I like is. Okay. I think everything is on the same line here though. I don't see an issue. Hold on. Okay. Oh, I see the problem. Let's push this in here. It's supposed to be on the same line as name and apps. Okay, this should work now. I think we have an error here as well. Let's push it in. Okay, this should work now. Let's push this in as well. Okay, this should work. WQ for save. Let's run our play again. So it's, yeah, let's run our play. I don't think we should have an error anymore. Okay, gathering facts worked. So you see we're updating repository index for all the managed nodes, right? Both the first and second one. And you can see that, okay, we have a one in here, okay, but I think everything worked. Something failed. Updating cache and auto installing this dependency. Hold on. But let's review this before we veer into our playbook again. So gathering facts, you know, I told you it has to gather facts before it runs like your play. Then the repository index update worked for both of the nodes. You see that it skipped. Now the reason why it skipped is because in the when condition I said when the distribution is Ubuntu, right? So 139, of course, remember is CentOS. So it skipped 139, right? And went on to like Ubuntu. So this worked, but all of this failed. Let's see why this failed. This failed and this got skipped. Let's see why. So let's veer into our playbook. Let's scroll. Okay, oh wow. Sorry, I'm using the apt module. I forgot to change it to YAML. Right, so this should work now. I think this should work. I don't think we should have any other issue. Let's run that play again. That's clear. Let's put this at the top. Let's run that play again. Now, this is where tags will be really important, right? Because the play was already successful for the Ubuntu end of things, right? We could have just used tags to target just the CentOS site. We'll be adding tags soon, but let's see if this would work. Installing PHP supports for Ubuntu. Okay, this all work. Okay, this changed. So the Apache worked this time. It's installing Git. It skipped. You see that it skips the Ubuntu server and installing for just the CentOS. That's because we use the when distribution. We use the when conditionals. It skipped for Ubuntu. Okay, so everything successfully worked this time. So let's go on to our slave 2. Let's check for PHP. So we now have the executable part for PHP, which means PHP has been installed. Let's check for Git. We now have the executable part for Git, which means Git has been installed in our CentOS server, our slave 2. For Apache, let's check sudo system ctl Apache. So okay, status Apache 2. No, HTTP. Okay, it's disabled now. There's something about CentOS, right? CentOS does not automatically start services, right? We can start the service automatically on like CentOS. Or rather, we can start the service manually on CentOS. It doesn't automatically start the service when it installs the service. Unlike Ubuntu, that when we install that Apache was already running automatically. And if I go to my browser and let's copy this web address, this IP address. Let's copy this IP address. Let's paste and let's change it to 139 because that's what CentOS. You would see that it wouldn't work, right? That's because Apache is not running. As you can see, Apache is disabled here. But I don't want to enable it here. I want to still use Ansible to enable it. It's a way to do that. So let's go back to our play. Let's veer into our... This is where we introduce tags as well. So let's veer into our play. Let's scroll down. Now, you would ask, I've been saying tags since what? So what are tags? So basically, tags allow you to, group your tags and selectively run a particular tags, like based on the tags that you have assigned. So if I had assigned a tag to this section, let's imagine I assigned the tags. If I assigned the tag CentOS to this section and added that tag to my play when I wanted to run the play, it would have run for just CentOS, right? So let's actually create another play that will enable us to run, that will enable Apache to manually get started for our CentOS. So let's give it a name. Let's call it Start Apache for CentOS. Let's give it a tag. Let's call it tag enable. Let's give it so we're going to be using the service module. In this case, if you go through your Ansible documentation, you'd see use cases for the service module. Let's give it the name. So the name of the service we want to start is HTTPD. The state, I want to give you the state of started. You have to be really careful when you are writing your your play, because it's a little mistake to make your play not run, just like you saw that we experienced an error the other time. Then put enabled in here. Enabled, yes. I think that's all. Okay, let's add our conditional. Okay, so this should work. So now I'm just going to use this tag for the enabled, right, to run this play. So let's call our play. So we'll add the tag to add tags, then just call our single tag. So this should work. Sorry, I think I'm making a mistake. Oh, it's supposed to be 2 dashes, not 1. Okay, that should work now. Okay, now you see that it's going to skip every other thing, right? It's going to skip this, it's going to skip, okay, rather it's going to skip every other play, right? And just go straight to like updating, or rather starting our service. If we are into our play, you see it skipped everything, skipped all this play, and just went on to start Apache for CentOS, right? You see why it's important that you give your plays or your tags names that actually make sense, because now when someone else that did not write this play enters into this play book, right, and look at all the plays we have written and all the tags that we've written, see that each of these tags, they actually have like good headers. This tag has an header of start Apache for CentOS. This tag has a good header, so you understand what each of these tags are doing. It's important that you give your tags good names, right? Now let's go back to our CentOS server. Let us check if Apache has been started now with that tags that will run. See, Apache is running now. So if you refresh our web page, the default Apache page for CentOS should be showing. Hold on. Yeah, great. So it's working. So we've been able to, in this section, cover tags. We covered the conditionals. We covered Ansible playbooks. We covered ad hoc commands. We covered OpenSSH. Then we also talked about the theoretical aspect of Ansible. So that's that. In the future sessions, we'll be covering much more advanced concepts in Ansible, like roles. We'll also cover Ansible vaults and some other more complex concepts, right? But I think we've come to the end of this video. But before we do that, I want to refactor this our playbook, because this playbook really looks ugly, looks redundant, it looks rookish. So let's do that. Let's update that. So you see this all these tags here, this install git, install page, you can actually put them all together, because also each of them are using the apt module, right? So we can do this instead. First of all, let's give it tags, because it's nice to add tags. Let's just give this a simple tag, Ubuntu. We're using the apt module, calling on the name. The state is latest, but what we'll do with the name is that we'll give it a space, give it a dash. So this should be what it looks like. You can call on the next package you want to install, or which is the git, You can call on the next one, which is PHP. So let's just quickly copy this. Right, I think this looks good. Then we can get rid of all this. Right, we can get rid of all this. Don't need it anymore. Let's just get this one off. Great. We've gotten rid of all this. Now look at how this play that looked. Now we've gotten rid of everything. Look at how this play that looked so long. Look at how short it looks now for Apache, for our Ubuntu, right? Now let's do the same for the CentOS. We are using the same package installer, which is Yum. So we just have to like call on the name. Hold on. So for the name, let's add the dash, httpd. Next one is git. Hold on, let's spell this out. The next one is PHP. Okay, let's give it a tag as well. Let's call this CentOS. Okay, so we can get rid of these other ones now, right? Then for this, tags actually, you can add multiple tags. It doesn't have to be just one tag. So you can add this CentOS tag so that, because you need to think about how your play runs before, whilst you are creating the play, right? So that when we call, if we want to just run for CentOS, I know that if we're doing this on like a different slave that we've not worked on before, CentOS, the Apache would not automatically start running, right? We need to like manually enable it. So if you add the CentOS tag here, what it's basically going to do is that if we call on we'll just run the play against just this tag, CentOS is going to go into this, it's going to skip the Ubuntu side of things. It's going to skip the Ubuntu, then it's going to go straight to CentOS. It's going to install all these packages for CentOS, then also automatically start Apache. So this is the standard I would use. Then we could just change the name. So instead of calling it install Apache for CentOS, just installing packages for CentOS. Then you can call this installing packages for Ubuntu. I think this looks good. This is how short it looks now. Imagine the previous version. The previous version was very, very long, right? But you see what refactoring does? It actually makes things look better and looks shorter. This looks more professional, looks less rookish. So let's run our play again to see if what we did was correct. So we're not adding any tags, we just want to run the old play to make sure that everything we did was correct. Now it's probably not going to show anything has changed since we already installed everything, but it's going to show okay, everything will run correctly, right? Remember, it's going to skip for this because we use the when conditionals. Okay, you see that everything worked perfectly. It's the same thing. Just compare the previous version and the current version of this play now. See how good this play looks. Now look at this play. It looks like less rookish, right? It looks way more better. It looks clearer and it looks cleaner. So this is standard that you should go by. There are other things we'll also introduce. We'll introduce host vars, we'll introduce variable Ansible votes, we'll introduce roles. Like there's more concepts in Ansible. So I hope you just look forward to our next video. But for now, I've come to the end of this particular video. I hope it was helpful to you. I hope you're able to follow along, and I hope you understand some concepts in Ansible now. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos. Thank you for watching.